A quick content warning before we begin. This episode does contain discussions of trauma and the act of suicide. If you or someone you know is in need of mental health support, call or text the number 988 to speak to a trained counselor at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You're listening to How I Met Your Monster, a podcast that explores the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. My name's Zach.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Casey.
And together we dive into the world of horror to find out how filmmakers have introduced us to our favorite monsters time and time again. This is How I Met Your Monster.
Boss, you opened it. We came.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you Meatloaf Jack! Surprise, Sydney.
Come on, don't be chicken shit.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on another episode of How I Met Your Monster. If you're not already subscribed to the show, make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all of them. Just follow us everywhere. Even though you won't listen to the show everywhere, just follow us everywhere.
Or listen to the show everywhere
Or, yeah.
at the same time. Download all the apps on separate devices. But play just a second after the other one. So it's just like our voice echoing.
Throughout the house.
Yeah.
Or the car. Or your headphones. Or
both.
Or both.
Everything all at once. Everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, I still need to see that. I still need to watch that movie.
Yeah, you do.
Heck.
I know.
You haven't seen it?
I know. No,
You
I'm
need to just sit down
busy
and watch it.
watching
It is
shit like this
So
movie.
good. Again, watch it simultaneously.
didn't like this
What
movie?
have you learned from this conversation?
You didn't like this movie?
It wasn't my favorite. It was good, and I did like parts of it. I don't know, maybe it was like the hype going into it that I was like, you know, you can only let yourself down by going in with everyone saying how great it is. I liked it just fine. I enjoyed it, but there was some things that I thought felt forced and a little played out, but overall it was good. You know, the director, oh my gosh, what's his name? The director,
Finn.
Parker Finn. He had only made 2 shorts before this.
Yeah.
And then he made
Is that wild?
Smile. That is wild. I mean,
So impressive.
it's like a very well made movie. It's like,
Yeah. And
It's
then you
all
have
there.
like Sosie Bacon as like your lead. It's Kevin Bacon and Kara Sedgwick's his daughter. Like what a get.
Yeah. And she was in
Wild.
Mayor of Easttown that I had totally forgotten about.
Yes.
So good. She's good.
I remember that's where maybe I've seen her in something else, but I remember specifically seeing her in that where she really stood out to me, where I didn't realize that's who it was. And then I had to like look her up because I was like, wow, she's very talented. And then you make the connection and like, of course she's talented. Look at her parents. Equally talented.
Right. Casey, what about you?
Well, I did the opposite thing as you, and I went into this movie thinking it was going to be total shit because I'm always let down. So I was like, you know what? I fucking give up. And I thought it was great.
Okay.
Yeah, there was like some parts in it that I was like kind of bored and stuff with a little bit through the middle. But the rest of it, I was like, man, when it was over, I was like, that was pretty good. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, wow. Because then
Stuck
I went
with
back. And then I went back through it again and kind of went to some of like the more important parts. And all of the dialogue is so geared toward what the quote unquote monster is in the movie that I didn't realize it the first time I watched it because you're not fully aware of what it is until closer to the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Me too. I enjoyed it. Spooky. Surprisingly more gory than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And the first kill, which we'll get to, I was like cringing.
Oh, I I have a lot to say about that, so I'm just
yeah.
gonna wait.
Okay. It's on the back burner. I don't know why I had to turn the back burner on, but there it is.
Because it's on. It's got to keep it warm.
Oh, that's true. Keep it on low.
Okay, so before we get into this, as always, what did you guys watch?
Nothing.
Me neither.
Nada? Oh, I watched quite a bit.
Well, like the last week and a half has been really weird for me, so I've just been watching a lot of the Great British Baking Show because it makes me feel better.
Well, that counts.
Danny, what did you watch?
I watched a few things. For a few first timers, one rewatch. I rewatched The Ring, which is
Okay.
my personal
Interesting,
favorite.
because this was kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny enough. I watched this before The Ring, which is funny, and it's funny that you say that.
This is so
because
funny. This is very funny.
It is
This is
so
funny. It is so funny.
funny.
Listen to how hard I'm laughing.
I was almost crying because I was laughing so hard. No, but they both have that sort of, and I mean this as a compliment, they kind of have that like Scooby-Doo quality to it, where it's like the investigative side of things, like uncovering clues to figure
You
out.
could have
Yes.
just said investigative. You had to
Instead of Scooby-Doo.
lower it down to Scooby-Doo.
But I mean as a compliment, I love Scooby-Doo. Well, everyone like shits on Scream 3 because they're like, oh, it becomes so Scooby-Doo. And I'm like,
What's wrong
where's
with
like that's a compliment. I don't understand why this is a negative. So yeah, I rewatched The Ring. I saw this movie, this old Alfred Hitchcock movie called The Lady Vanishes, which basically was remade in like 2006 with Jodie Foster, Flight Plan. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Oh, I did see
Basically the
Flight
same
Plan.
movie.
I saw Flight Plan.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very similar, except this one's on a train and then that one was on a plane.
Okay.
Yeah, really fun. I watched Crimes of the Future,
Oh, that's right.
the new Cronenberg movie. Which I texted you
Ooh, that's
both
right.
about.
What are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It's been sitting with me a little bit, and I've been sort of digesting it. Yeah.
Zach won't get that.
I still have questions. I've been wanting to just like Google some things and like read some articles, but I'm also just trying to like let it just sit with me. And
Well, okay, be honest though.
Not
It was
do
not
that
as
right
gory
now.
as it was supposed to be.
so it wasn't as gory as I thought, but there was a lot of shocking moments. Like this is not a spoiler, but there's just like all of a sudden it cuts to someone like cutting into something. And I was like, oh my God. And like the sound of like bones scraping, I was like, oh my God, I hate this so much. But yeah, it wasn't like The Fly, where like that's revolting. That's just so disgusting.
So good.
But it also is like perfect for the movie. Like I love it for the movie. But yeah, not that bad. Pretty interesting story. Very weird.
Have you guys seen Dead Ringers?
No.
Never seen Dead Ringers.
You should watch Dead Ringers.
Got it on my
It's-
watch list, but I've not
It's
watched
good.
it.
But that's kind of like, I don't know. I still have yet to see Crimes of the Future, but it's like, they
I like the imagery of this.
Yeah, well, like I don't know if this was in the original marketing, but like in the marketing since it's been like re-released or whatever, it's all like there's like these surgical tools that like they use that are all this, and like so you think it's like going to be really disgusting, and it's not that. Like there's like not a whole lot of that.
Okay.
It's really good. Don't get me wrong. Like it's icky in like a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like all of his movies are kind of icky. There's like a weird grime and everything.
Yeah. But no, I would highly recommend Dead Ringers.
Okay. Maybe we
Good
do another
Cronenberg.
Cronenberg month one of these days. Part 2.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah. So I watched The Lady Vanishes, Crimes of the Future, and then I watched that new Florence Pugh, the one that had all that drama.
Oh.
Don't worry,
Circling
darling.
it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, darling.
Yeah,
Is
Don't
that
Worry,
what it is?
Darling. Not the movie I was expecting it to be. Better than I heard it would be, at least in my opinion. I thought it was fun. I thought it was like really weird, and maybe I just went into it. Usually I do kind of like I think too hard about what the movie's going to be and like the twists and all that, but like kind of just wasn't there with this one, which I think helped because I was like, oh wow, I guess I should have seen that coming, but I did not see that coming.
That's kind of how I felt about Smile.
Mm-hmm. It's like your expectations are just not at their normal standard.
They weren't. And then, well, we'll talk about it. It surprised me. Actually, I did watch Birdman for the first time.
Oh.
That's why
Creepy in its own
That's why I texted
way.
you and said, is this actually all one shot? And then I realized that clearly it's not, but I was like, realized that the first however much was, and I had mentioned something to Matt, and he's like, yeah, it's all one take. And I was like, no, it's fucking not.
It's fun though. Like it's at least supposed to feel like it. So
Yeah.
I guess that's.
It was okay. I wasn't like crazy about it, but again, that's because my expectations were set very high, and I thought there was going to be more of the fantasy element, and that was very, very little throughout. You know what I mean? Like, I thought there was going to be a lot more of that, and that's what I wanted from it. If anything, it just made me realize how much Michael Keaton spits when he talks because of all the theatrical lighting. But.
Dude, I saw Jeff Daniels in To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway.
You did?
Wow. That's awesome.
It was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But so much spitting. Oh my God. So much spitting. Yeah. That's all.
Scout. Scout.
Yeah, Casey, you're right with like the stage lighting. It's like when the light hits just right, you
Yes.
see all the spit.
Everything.
All the spit.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff. He's not a quitter, but he is a spitter.
Yeah.
It's a famous quote that everyone knows with Jeff Daniels.
I refuse to watch Birdman because I'm childish, and I am so mad that dude won Best Director over Richard Linklater for Boyhood.
Oh, so you haven't even seen Birdman?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to tear me apart for not liking it.
No. I refuse to watch it because I am immature and I hold a grudge.
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's kind of a trip, though. He did, when you think of like, even though it isn't one take, it feels like it.
Yeah,
So
how many
just
Hitchcock did that in
technical-
Rope? Like, who fucking cares about
But
that?
he goes to like the city and like
Who
all
has made a
over.
movie over 12 years and watched people grow up on screen? Nobody.
That's fair.
I mean, Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but other than that,
fucking the one take bullshit, I don't.
No, I'm with you there. And if ever there was a movie for him to win Best Director, it would have been that one.
sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean
I
that.
was Teen Boyhood when that came
Teen
out.
Boyhood, huh? That sounds weird. Wait. Might not want to tell people that, Danny. That's something I don't just say.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, you could be Team Boyhood. Like, you can like Boyhood better than adulthood.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but okay.
I know. I know.
Like Richard Dreyfuss's character in Stand By Me.
Yeah. Yeah. He never had any friends like the friends he had when he was 12.
Yeah.
Does anyone?
Jesus.
My friends are better now.
I like losing my friends little by little. I've noticed.
No, I'm serious. It's like so much relief, and especially when you grew up with people that treated you like shit, but you didn't realize it until you were an adult, and then thankfully you just separated and you didn't have to deal with them anymore. Amazing.
I've had friend breakups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, it's fine though. It's good to let go of that.
Yeah.
All right.
I need like a friend dating app because I don't know how to meet people.
Those absolutely are things you can go on to dating apps and just hit friends.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely
I
a thing.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that. Like looking
can.
for friends. Yeah. Do it. Get on fucking.
Get on Tinder, dude.
All right. I'll be like, what up, bitches?
Okay. Well, are you guys ready to meet the monster?
Mm-hmm.
Smile. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Cheek.
Should we post on our socials us doing like the creepiest smile?
No. I will not. I did love the marketing for this movie, though.
What was the marketing?
Oh, they just would pay people to go stand in places and smile at people.
That is so genius and so creepy.
Yeah.
On like fucking like network morning shows, like ABC morning shows.
Yep,
they'd be
in
like
the
background,
window
like
and
in the
shit.
crowd.
That is-
Yeah. In a baseball games.
That's amazing.
Yep.
You know what's so exciting about that is that obviously worked because the movie was very successful. So now we're going to start seeing these like really bizarre like marketing schemes, and I'm very curious to see what like future horror movies are going to do.
But yes, I am excited about that, but I'm not excited for like the future of advertising, because there was a thing I saw that now they can like project ads into the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like fucking
With drones.
Blade
I
Runner.
don't want to live in the future.
I know. And it's just like
They're taking
so
over.
disgusting. Like the sky's going to be filled with like Coca-Cola ads and shit.
Oh my God.
And
Haven't they seen Wall-E?
There's not enough light pollution on this planet. We need to add some
Right.
more.
well, they say like, I saw a thing one time. I don't know if it was a little documentary or what, but like kids in like just for instance, like kids who grew up in New York City and like never leave the city, they have like this much smaller view of the world. Like they're like, they don't understand the scope of it because they can't see the stars.
Oh my gosh.
And then like, if they
That
go
hurts.
out and see the thing, it's like, yeah, it's wild. But okay. Smile. Okay. So dude, I don't remember hearing piano music as like, I'm sorry, not piano music, but like children's piano music since like Child's Play 2.
Are you talking about all of the music in this movie?
No, just the opening. a little
Okay.
bit.
I was going to say, I don't remember any of that really, but
What was with all the turning upside down? Why was everything upside down?
There were
I
a
don't
few
know.
visual things I was paying attention to that I was curious about that that we're talking about it. I realized I didn't give it any more thought, but there was a lot of turning upside down. There was a lot of like going into circular things like in the eye and then later through a circular window. That's a good question.
Which his apartment was fucking awesome. I want to live in that apartment.
Wasn't it?
yeah.
It was really fun. Like great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice coffee table.
Dude, we need more Kyle Gallner in like suits.
Yeah. Did you know that he was in this movie?
I did. Well, I
'Cause I
follow him on
didn't.
Twitter and he's very vocal about it.
It's like, dude, shut up about the movie.
I was like, I get it. You want us
Shut
to? I didn't know
up.
he was talking about a movie. I thought he was just trying to get people to smile more.
Smile.
Shut up. You're blocked.
Yeah. I didn't know that he was in this movie. And then I was like, wait, is that? Yeah.
He's like a little horror staple between this
Yeah.
and Jennifer's Body, Scream 5.
He's in Haunting in Connecticut.
Oh, The Haunting in Connecticut, the Nightmare remake he was in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've talked about this.
He
a
was
few
in
times.
Have we?
Wet Hot American Summer.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Wait, we
talked
talked about
this
him a lot.
Last week, yeah. We talked
Oh
about
my
this
god,
last
that's so
time.
funny.
No, he's good though. He's I really
He's
liked
really
him in this.
good.
I liked his character.
Yeah.
You know who I didn't like? Fucking Trevor.
Ooh.
Dude,
Well,
Trevor sucks.
no, I mean, yes and no. Some of it I can see, your partner going through things and not quite knowing how to deal with them. I think that if my partner killed a cat and gave it to a kid as a birthday present, I'd probably be acting like Trevor too.
But see, I disagree only because I think he went from 0 to 60 with her from the start. He was like,
I know,
everything was
that's-
anti whatever she's saying. If I was at a kid's party and Cody gave some kid a gift and there was a dead cat in there, I'd be like, who killed my cat? Because it clearly wasn't you, Cody. I know
Yeah,
you
but-
didn't murder our cat and wrap it and give it to your nephew.
But she did though.
But
She did. And
she
she like
didn't.
pulled a knife out on him the day before and she's like screaming at him that she's going to stab him and all this shit. Like,
no, I think he
yeah.
overreacted. He walked out while she had a knife and he was like, put it down. It's like, okay, I didn't know you were in the room.
Yeah,
so
but then
take
she didn't
easy.
put it down. She just kept screaming and going like this with the knife.
I don't know. I thought he was He gave her no reason to trust him.
That's what I meant. Like, I think him just trying to deal with his partner having issues. Yes, he did not do the best, but I think that when it came to the point where my partner killed a cat and gave it to a child as a birthday gift, I would probably start acting that way. I would leave them, probably.
I didn't like him.
I didn't either. I didn't either, but
well, like he didn't listen to her though. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
That's
okay. She killed the cat and put it in the thing, in the box, but she was like pleading with people to be like, I didn't do this. Like,
yeah.
And even though she did, it's like she clearly was, something was wrong. And he was just like, you know what? I've got better things to do.
Yeah.
This is my whole life that I'm attaching this to. Like, I'm out of here.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look at any of the names of any of the actors, but he plays A-Train in The Boys, who is also a jerk.
Twat. Yeah. Like maybe more so there.
Yeah.
What drove me nuts about his character was not even just how he didn't listen, but it was the first, maybe not the first time we saw him, maybe the second, but he comes home and, it was the night that the alarm goes off and she calls the cops and he shows up and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, you set the alarm? And she's like, yeah. He's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
As though like, I live here. Why would you say? It's like, okay, take it
Does
easy.
A woman who is alone
she made
not
a mistake,
set the alarm?
Or exactly, she either made a mistake and forgot that she said it. Clearly, you guys have some weird rule about when you're allowed to set. You live there. Do the alarm when you get home. Like, what are you so stressed about?
Yeah, I feel like if we had an alarm system, Matt would just expect me to set it if ever I was home alone.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Same.
Like that would be the time to set the alarm.
100%. Lock the door, set the alarm.
Yeah,
it's the point.
I thought that it was really funny the first time he scared her when she like gasped really loud and dropped her wine glass and he said, did I scare you? Well, what the fuck do you think? Of course you fucking scared her.
What's the matter? You scared? Why'd you throw your glass on the ground and yell?
Yeah.
And then later she breaks another one and he's like, did you break another glass, Rose?
That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh God. Laura is our first in the observation room, in the exam room, I guess.
I do not think that I have ever had chills like that in my entire life.
Real? In which part specifically?
When the whole time she was talking, like her monologue, and then when she started screaming, and then my chills got chills on top of chills, and it was my entire body, and it was crazy.
Should get that checked out.
Shut up.
It's a lot of chills on chills on chills. Picturing like goosebumps with like like a mutated goosebumps.
And they're sitting on the couch and fucking and Matt turns and there's just a goose sitting on the couch.
Like, oh my God. Casey.
No, but I really I don't think I've ever had chills like that in my life. It was crazy. I watched that scene like 4 times.
Did the chills stay each time?
Yes.
Or did they go down?
I got chills every time.
That's the thing with this movie. It does not fuck around. Like every scene is kind of throwing you into the trenches. Like this is about trauma and this is about death. And even Carl, one of Rose's first patients, is just sort of, like kind of sets the standard for like how all of these people are consumed by death. And then obviously we meet Laura, who like sets the story in motion. Yeah. And like the music in that scene, I mean, the music in general in the whole movie was like just so eerie to me. I don't usually like watch through the credits, but I let the credits play and I was like getting really uncomfortable. Like the end credits. I was really uncomfortable because of the music.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's
So since we're talking about this right now, I just need to say the fact that they played Lollipop at the end felt so incredibly forced to me.
I was wondering why they chose Lollipop Was it because he goes into her mouth? I was wondering what the significance was of it.
I don't know. And I wondered if it was like that, like dark ending with like a poppy credit song, which is, I like that dynamic. I think it works a lot of the time. But this, it did not fit for me at all. I was like, why are they doing this? Anyways, but then that to say, like, after Lollipop fades out during the credits, you get like this weird, like a lot of it's just like noise put together, and it's
Screaming.
very unsettling. Yeah,
that's what I was talking about, because the lollipop thing I didn't notice somehow. So that scene with Laura, she says a lot of things in that scene that kind of set up the rest of the movie.
And that's when we see our first smile. Oh, and then after, which I love, is that visual of when they show in the morgue, I guess, Laura's body with the sheet over it, and it looks like a smile because of the way the blood was cut.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
Great visual.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, yeah, and then I was thinking like why they chose like a smile.
You're pretending.
You put on the smile.
It's like instead of dealing with it, you're just smiling, and you're like,
you're covering it up.
It's like repressed emotions.
Yeah.
Before I watched it, I knew nothing about this movie, literally, except Smile, right? And I was like, this is so fucking corny. This movie is called Smile, and these people are smiling. Like, what the fuck is this going to be about? You know what I mean?
Right.
But then as soon as like this happened, and then, you know, these people are committing suicide, and in this film, it's like portrayed as this entity that enters them and causes them to do it. But in reality, it's like when you're suffering from depression and PTSD and all of those things that trauma has caused you, you know, there is another part of you that convinces yourself that things would be better off if you weren't there.
Yeah, this movie does not fuck around. It's fucking like dealing with some shit.
It is, and I didn't expect that at all from it.
That's why I like movies like this, and we were talking about like what the monster is and how you can kind of interpret it. There's like not an open interpretation, but you can sort of interpret it as either being literal or, you know, metaphorical.
Yeah.
Because even just if you want to just be like, this is just a monster movie that feeds off trauma, it still like plays by the rules of trauma. Like going down to even the basics of like the fact that it like forces its victim to like wear this smile. Yep. Almost as though like the creature doesn't understand how a human would truly handle that. It's like they think that's working, like that'll hide it. But it's like, no. But that's sort of like what we do too, like humans, when we're trying to suppress those emotions. It's like we're not really fooling anyone. Or even ourselves for the most part. It's like it's just a veil. It's just a mask.
You're fooling yourself least of all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I liked that it's like it's quote unquote an elevated horror movie because there's so much deeper meaning to it, but it was very easy to understand.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of those movies that tries really hard to be like, make you think about everything, and it's super thoughtful, and you know what I mean? Like it's very straightforward.
It has like the guise of a popcorn horror movie, but
yes,
like you said, it has something to say.
Yeah, very much so.
So where does elevated horror start and regular horror stop? Because horror movies since forever have had like deeper meaning. And so like where's the cutoff?
Oh no, I think that those old movies that do have deeper meaning can still be considered elevated horror, but horror as a genre itself is typically looked at as a genre that doesn't have that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like surprising to people when it happens because they just expect it to be about the monsters and the blood and the guts, and it's not supposed to be about, you know,
Gotcha.
Suicide or trauma or social commentary or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I always thought that like even the term elevated horror, which they kind of poke fun at this in Scream 5, is sort of like,
I knew he'd bring up Scream. God damn it.
I had to. Of course I did. Once I heard elevated horror, I was like, here it comes. I think, especially for someone maybe who doesn't, like, we're all like obviously like really invested into horror. So like Casey, you said, like you know that that's part of the DNA of a lot of horror movies. But then there's obviously the other ones that are just sort of like splatterfests or like they don't really care about just like any genre of anything.
Sure.
But I feel like people who maybe aren't as familiar with horror might see the distinction a little bit more clearly.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think and I think horror is becoming a little bit more mainstream nowadays. So I think that's maybe why the term is becoming a little bit more prevalent.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's a good question. It's like, where does it begin? It feels new, but I don't, like Casey, you said, it's not like new. It's just the term is kind of new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we don't consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people really don't like it, the term. But I mean, it doesn't bother me because there are movies that aren't about anything but.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Bullshit.
I mean, there can be elevated comedy. There can be elevated.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking that too. I mean, Dumb and Dumber is so much more than just these two guys trying to find this woman in Aspen. You know what I mean? There is so much more to that movie.
Aspen.
A little place called Aspen.
You know who doesn't like elevated horror? Is
Jenna Ortega.
Ghostface. No, she likes elevated horror.
Oh, she
Favorite
does
movie's
like
The Babadook.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is like the Babadook plus It Follows. Like you mash those together, you get Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what about the first time that we see Rose kind of like have a moment where she realizes like what the fuck is going on when the alarm goes off and the security company calls.
Oh yeah.
And she like has a conversation with somebody and then like the phone rings and she realizes she's not even like holding the phone. That was cool.
I feel really stupid because every single one of those got me. Every single jump scare in this movie got me. I fell for everything 100%. I really did.
That's a sign of a good movie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
because they're all
I feel dumb.
No, don't feel dumb. That's just that's just a
but again,
filmmaker.
Sometimes I do sit there and try to think and pick and what and stuff like that. And I did not do that at all while I was watching this movie. I was just totally invested.
There was that one scene when Rose is listening through the audio of her appointment with Laura, and you're like waiting for something to happen.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, something's gonna jump out. God damn it! Where is it coming? And then, I was like, is this gonna happen?
Dude, I was getting close. I'm like, what is she saying? What is she saying? I'm getting closer to the TV trying to listen. What is it saying? And then I fucking screamed. She says Rose, by the way.
Rose.
No, when she whispers in the thing that she's listening back.
Rose. Really?
She says Rose.
Right.
Yeah.
I did know that. I learn a lot because we watch with the captions on. And so like there's a lot of things that you'll pick up on in movies that you might not get without the captions.
Yeah.
I missed that completely.
Yeah. I think it's funny how like everyone in these movies is like an audio engineer. Like they've got the fucking playback with like the waves and the fucking heat map or whatever. The fucking audio.
Even though in reality she would probably be like listening to it on her phone on like
she would like double click it and it would bring up iTunes and it would be
yeah exactly
now playing.
And then she'd hit like the 10-second rewind button. You know?
So the girl who jumps out, is that her mom?
No, that's Laura.
Oh, it was Laura.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she sees her again at one point and she's in the hospital. She's looking out and she's standing there. So she just sees Laura for a while. For the first day, I think it's all Laura.
Okay, so here's a question. She sees Laura. She witnessed Laura commit suicide, and so she sees Laura during her thing. Why does she see it in Carl and that girl at the birthday party?
Because it looks like people, but it's not a person. Sometimes it pretends to be someone that I know, and sometimes it's a random stranger.
That's right.
Okay.
Like she probably didn't know that birthday party, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or she was like, she was already traumatized from that girl because she's like, show her where her sister's like, show her where the adult beverages are.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're a shrink, right? You're a therapist. She's like, yeah. She's like, oh my God, thank
Oh
God.
yeah.
Like, so she got traumatized already just on the walk to the drink station.
Hey, maybe there is something there. Maybe there's something to be said for that.
Speaking of traumatizing people, Jackson, the little kid, is fucked.
Yep. He sure is.
They even do that one cutaway later on in the movie. He's just like,
Yep,
and there's no
staring at her.
resolution. It's just like he's scarred.
When he's looking out the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because like not only did he get fucking traumatized with the fucking cat, and then he sees her like freaking out in the car. And he's just
He's like, is this what it is to be human?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this what's going to happen to me
Like,
when I become an
Hop
adult?
aboard, buddy.
good luck, Jackson.
Well, yeah, now it is because you've
Yeah.
been traumatized.
Crazy train. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
That kid deserves to be traumatized, though.
Yeah, he was stupid.
I mean, that whole family. I mean, but they were meant to be that family that you can't fucking stand. So
Yeah. Yeah. You get like a little bit of like compassion later when Holly kind of explains herself to Rose. But up until then, you're like, her and her husband are just like, oh my God, you're the fucking worst.
I loved it when they were at dinner and they're saying whatever and she goes, "Can you guys just shut the fuck up?" And then the waiter comes and he sets her food down. She's like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because that's definitely what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the poor cat. What a cute cat.
Mustache.
And Mustache. What a great name.
So cute.
I must ask though, like, why did he have to be a victim?
Fuck you. Shut the fuck up, Danny. Oh my God. I knew that she wasn't wrapping the train when she was wrapping it because I was very irritated when she got that train. It did not fit in the box.
But that scene was rough because
I thought it was going to be a hallucination and it was going to like turn
Okay.
out to be like she's still freaked out, but like she was just going to be holding the train. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh no,
Gotcha.
that's still just the cat. I was like, oh God,
Yeah.
this is really happening.
It was not a fake out.
there was so much in that because like she was freaking out because of what is clearly happening, but then she's also holding her dead cat who she loved like very much.
Yeah.
Right. And so she's freaking out about that. And then she falls in the fucking coffee table
Glass coffee table.
and then sees her arms and freaks out about that. It was like, wow.
Layered.
Like, I just need a breath after this. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with this movie. It's like you said, it's a lot heavier than you're anticipating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When she goes to her therapist, I assumed that it was kind of foreshadowing for the end of the movie, but obviously not something that I knew yet. But they're talking about, you know, her therapist says, well, maybe you need to talk about what happened with your mom. And she says, I don't want to talk about that ever. I don't want to talk about that again, blah, blah, blah. Her therapist says, you have wounds that have never fully healed, and it's possible that they never will completely. That is the nature of trauma. And that kind of goes to the end of the movie because at one point they make you think that she has somehow overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the nature of trauma is that it may never be completely gone.
Oh my God.
It's
Yeah.
devastating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was really like holding out hope for her in the end. It would have been nice to see, just like obviously this is so subjective, but it would have been nice to see if like taking like what she knows from her personal experiences, but also just as a doctor and maybe like shifting her career where like maybe she works with, I guess she already does. I guess that is her job. Maybe she works with troubled youths or something, you know, to kind of like how to get through something.
The point of it, though, is that trauma can affect everybody.
Yeah.
And it can be devastating to anybody.
Yeah.
Even somebody
even people.
who you think has all of the tools to take care of
Right.
it.
But is the movie
Right.
positing the fact that trauma is unmanageable or just inescapable? Because no one is
Inescapable.
able to defeat it.
Right.
But I know that like trauma is something that can technically be managed.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that it's saying that nobody could, but I think it's just showing that anybody is
How
susceptible to
powerful
it.
it is.
Yeah. You know, like it causes, you know, like PTSD, anxiety, depression, all of these mental health illnesses, you know, they all stem from childhood trauma. You know what I mean? Like, plays a big part. And even if you grow up and you spend 8 years getting your degree and you are the one that's helping people and you're the one that's has all the right things to say to people, you know, it's still something that can devastate you.
Yeah. I get that. Just for like the sake of like the movie and like hitting that point home. It has to be devastating in the end.
You guys probably know that I loved the end of this movie.
Oh, I know.
Well, when you texted us saying about how you were excited to talk about this, I was like, oh yeah, it's such like a bummer.
Yeah.
Like the hero, spoiler alert, the hero does not survive.
I mean, I liked the movie as a whole. Like I said, there was some stuff that even like when she goes into the cabin and she says like she needs to be alone, and then she ends up confronting the trauma of, you know, when she was 10 years old and she didn't help her mom after she had attempted suicide. She didn't call anybody to get help, and she had faced it. This movie even was able to like, I'm not sure if I've ever been able to talk my way into not minding how ridiculous something looked. Like her mom, when she was fucking 10 feet tall and that like caricature, right, of her mom.
Dude,
but I realized that, well, it was absurd, right? And usually that's something that I would be like, what the fuck? Like, don't ruin this for me, guys, you know? But I was able to be like, she was just screaming at her mom, telling her that she was terrified of her and that she was a monster. So like, that was how she saw her mom when she was a child. So, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't actually hate it after I realized the choice that they had made to do it.
Even like her normally tall height is sort of...
Yeah, well, she was 10. So she was,
exactly.
You know, she was a kid and her mom was a monster. So she looked like she was huge and grotesque and stuff because she was fucking terrified of her.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been able to, you know, give myself a reason to be okay with something being that ridiculous.
But there it is.
So this movie did
Ladies
something.
and gentlemen, we have a first here with Casey. The moral of the story is it's okay to look ridiculous sometimes. That's what I got out of this movie.
I went back and forth with that when she first like starts coming out of the fucking door frame. I was like, oh shit. Oh my God. And then she's like in the shadows still and she's coming out. I was like, oh. And then you see her and I was like, oh, that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
And then when they come back the second time, and you see her like more close up and you like the big forehead and just the bigger features, I was like, oh, this is very unsettling.
Yeah.
But it's also at the same time, I was thinking, I don't know if I was putting It Follows together with this one at that point yet, but I was like, oh man, the tall guy in It Follows was a lot better.
It was
more subtle.
Yeah. But I ended up really liking the tall mother monster
mom,
I guess.
Yeah.
And especially,
you like tall moms, you know?
I like tall moms. What can I say?
To each their own.
But I did love when she fucking pulls her face apart and she's got like 7 mouths and the eyeballs that are like, the eyeballs are still like very human, but like the rest of the faces, that was cool.
I did not know the movie was going to go that direction.
Right.
But I have to say, I'm very upset. I had the monster spoiled for me. A friend of mine just randomly texted me a picture of the monster. And I was like, what is this? And they were like, Smile, the Smile monster. I was like,
oh no.
Well, at least it still turned out to really not just be that.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was
but
just
I kept waiting for it. I was like, oh, she's lighting it on fire. Is it going to melt? And that's when that thing, I was like, oh, no, it was still satisfying. Super creepy. And what I really liked about that monster and that reveal was that they like linger on it. They're not trying to cut away. They you even get like that wide shot of it when it's like fucking crawling into her mouth,
Yeah,
could have been so stupid, but it was so disturbing.
It was that was another part of it too, is that you can see the transition from when she was fighting to where she had just given up and let it take hold of her.
Yeah.
And that was sad.
Yeah.
You know, you look at like the distinction between her and her sister, and you can argue that her sister, quote unquote, healed from their trauma by avoiding it. Clearly, you know, she said she wasn't around a lot, but also avoiding it in the present day of like pretending it just never happened.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like wrap my head around like the message of that, because it's sort of implying. No, okay, sorry. I'm like catching myself. I was going to say it's kind of implying that you can sort of avoid that horrific fate, you know, that horrific life if you avoid it.
It just affects everybody differently.
Exactly. But it also shows that she kind of sheltered her child, and yet her child was still exposed to something. And like eventually they are going to face life. So just because you were able to push it all down doesn't mean you're going to save everyone else.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I went on a little journey.
Came around.
Figuring it out. Yeah.
You got it.
Nina made a good point about, I don't know if it was a point, but she made an observation, or I don't even know if it was observation, an opinion. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
a thought.
At the end,
Nina said something.
Nina said something. No, it's like, it was frustrating when like Joel is standing there watching her at the end, knowing what the situation is, like watching it happen. Like, he didn't try to stop her from lighting the match. He didn't look away or run away. And it's just like devastating, because you're like, okay, now you know it's coming after him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't interfere either.
Will there be a part 2 where he finds out how to actually end it?
Yeah, if they do a sequel,
maybe.
You'd think that they would have it a more triumphant ending for the hero. But
yeah,
not
I would
necessarily.
watch. I would watch A Smile 2 with Kyle Gallner is the lead.
Me too. Hopefully, in the beginning, he just jumps off a cliff.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I thought they were going to do something like a twist on a twist, where when she goes to his house or his really cool apartment, and you find out, you know, he does the smile, then you realize like she's just like hallucinating. I thought it was going to be the opposite, where, because I was like, oh, something's going to happen. Like, they're not just having a conversation. But I thought that it was actually going to be a twist where she was already dead and we just didn't see it. And that as she was talking to him, she would start smiling.
She was bringing the trauma.
And she was the bad one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, are they going here? Like, is this going to be like really just dark? But then obviously that didn't happen.
I really liked the ending. And I know a handful of people who had watched this movie, and they all told me that, not all of them, but a few of them told me that it was really predictable to them.
Oh, really?
And yeah. And again, I just feel dumb because I was in it 100% to where, like, even when he said, I'll stay with you forever, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then he meant because he's trauma. Stay with her forever.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's so sweet. I guess they're getting back together. Oh, never mind.
This is way off topic, but I did.
Good.
Well, not really though. But now that we're talking about, it's Joel. Yeah, Joel. Going way back in that first time that we meet him, when he's kind of quote unquote interrogating Rose with his partner, and his partner is just being so insensitive.
Oh my God, there was a lot of that in this movie. A lot of
totally deliberate though, to be like, that's how a lot of people sort of view that,
and that's not
respond
okay
to it. Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, it's good that they highlighted that, because then you see him just kind of like, you see how much it stands out as a negative thing when you see the contrast of him being right there responding to it. And then obviously the quote unquote victim, Rose, sort of, you know, receiving that.
Yeah, it happens when she's out to dinner with Holly and her husband. Her husband says something I don't remember. And they're like, no, you don't say that.
So we like Joel.
Dude, can we talk for a second about Joel's printer?
Oh, we can.
Did I miss?
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
She says,
Oh, because of the pictures?
she's like, do you have a printer? And then it like goes into the circle window and comes out. And the next time you see her, she has like an official police folder with like very well printed photos with
Good
like
quality
all
crime
this
scene
stuff.
photos.
It's like
we needed that could have been a whole montage of him just like printing and kind of like organizing everything.
And the time clicking, and he's making pots of coffee. And yeah.
Do you have a printer and some official police file folders?
It's true.
All right, we didn't breeze over it. We completely ignored this when I was asking this earlier, so I'm going to bring it up again.
Okay.
But since we're at the end of the movie now, you were asking why did they use the lollipop song? And I asked, is it because is it very tasteless in that he like went into her mouth?
I think it's what Zach said. It was just the juxtaposition of something so horrifying.
But there's got to be something.
I don't know, man. And
is that just a morbid?
That's why I thought it
maybe,
felt so forced, because I was like, they're trying to like, there's kind of like a trend of, I don't want to say it's a trend because it happens like here and
like
there.
Barbarian did something similar with the whole.
I was trying to look up the lyrics to the song, but apparently Lil Wayne has a song called Lollipop. And I was like, she, lick me like a lollipop. She, lick me like a lollipop, yeah. Shody want a thug. I'm like, that's not how that song goes.
I heard it so differently in my head. It's like a lollipop is also called a sucker, and
Joel's a sucker because he
didn't
because he sat there and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, like was he just being traumatized? Is that the reason why he didn't do anything?
Because and that's the same thing. Yeah, think about when she watched that girl. How slowly was she cutting her face? She just sat there and watched her.
That's why I love when people will comment on movies and it was like, oh my God, if that was me, I would have been out of there. It's like,
bullshit.
You have no idea what you would do.
Yeah.
Because you've never faced death like that.
Yeah.
If you're so certain about what you would do.
Do you guys want to talk about the reveals in Smile?
Sure.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
Here's a list that I've compiled. Tell me if you agree or disagree, or there's some that you have added. Laura at the beginning is our first viewing. Carl. You are going to die. You're going to die.
Oh, and you know what? I forgot to mention that was really cool because he broke the fourth wall and he was also talking to all of us.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
How did it just get darker? Ugh.
Did you miss that?
Yeah. The girl at the computer, which I found out from you guys that was Laura again. The drunk girl at the birthday party. I don't know if she was drunk, but she was going to be.
She was drunk on life and questions.
She was going to be.
Yeah. Rose's mom, which I would assume was in the bathroom. Like you kind of see like the next room and it's just completely black. And then she like goes to bed and rolls over. And I think that was her mom in there.
Yeah.
The guy in the gas station footage, you see the smile on his face when he goes into the truck, the bed of the truck. Her sister Holly at the car with the head.
Oh my
down.
gosh. That was I jumped like so hard because I knew that she was going to like I was expecting just her to crouch down, but that's not what happened.
That was freaky.
Madeline, the therapist in the house, which was another good fucking scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do love that part because again, got me 100%. Did not have a fucking clue.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way that she just walks and just steps over the couch, you know what I mean? Like just like doesn't go around it or anything. Just, oh my God.
So I have a question about that. Not to continuously ruin the flow of this, but that's what made me think that maybe Rose had a chance of surviving because the monster like wasn't consuming her yet, where it was almost, again, because like was she so traumatized that like it didn't need to consume her completely because it wasn't consuming her there, but maybe it was just trying to scare her.
It just gives you that. Well, that's the thing, is it feeds off of that, so it's gonna scare you as long as it can.
That makes sense.
You know,
yeah,
like it's gonna do it as long as it can until it gets that sweet spot.
Okay, that makes sense.
They pulled like an Alien 3 scene there with like all of a sudden she was like drooling and it was like Sigourney Weaver like oh, you know who we haven't talked about, because my next reveal that I have listed here was when she stabs Carl and Dr. Desai Cal Penn. We didn't talk about Cal Penn. Starts peeling his face off.
Yep.
What's with the face peeling? Because he does it, and then
it's like you're not comfortable in your own skin.
Well, it's wearing a mask
or taking the mask off. Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
Like, wow, that was an easy thing to unpack. We got it.
That's what I'm saying.
I have the reveal of Big Mama's house.
Big Mama's house, yes. It is Big Mama's house. Okay.
Then we go to
if
Big
we still
Mama's
had like
house.
DVDs and they had like, you know, and you had the DVD chapters and you could like select like numbered, that would be called Big Mama's house.
Chapter 29, Big Mama's house.
Yeah.
Then when she goes back, it would be Big Mama's house too. Then I have the reveal of Joel, where she's in his apartment, and then I wrote giant skinned mama because like not only does she peel her face off, but then when you go to that wide shot, she's like totally skinned, and she's going into.
Yeah.
So what was your guys' favorite?
Would you say that there was maybe one more is when they visit the wife and then like we see the drawings of the monster? Kind of gives us a little taste of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I really liked all of them. Like I said, because all of the ones where they try to fake you out, they all totally fooled me. And they all creeped me out to some degree. But like I said in the beginning, I have never experienced chills in the way I have in that first part. Yeah. And so the part leading up to it is probably like really high up there on like my favorite horror movie moments, to be honest.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. Because I've never felt that way. I've never watched a movie and had that feeling before, ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Laura was my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I'm between two. I'm between the therapist fake out scene, because that was just very satisfying and unexpected. But also, I think I have to give it to the ending, the true form moment, like when it reveals itself as like it skins itself completely, and you see like all the mouths and eyes and stuff. It was I especially liked it because this movie didn't seem like it would go there with like a monster, like a literal monster. So then to see it just felt so fun as like a horror fan to like get that visual payoff. Yeah. So for that, I am going to go, my favorite reveal was the skin, like true
the
form.
Physical monster.
Yeah, monster.
Yeah, the physical form. Yeah.
What about you, Zach?
I have to say, yeah, I really liked that, the physical monster. But if I had to pick, I'd probably say Madeline in the house, the therapist, because like, that was totally unexpected. Just the fact,
It was good.
So yeah, I'm
really
gonna go
fun.
with that.
It's all creepy, man.
We all have like very different like variants of this monster.
Yeah,
which I really appreciate. And how did I pick the goriest one? How does that happen? Out of all three of us, the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
I'm usually the one who's like, it's like the thought of the monster.
I don't know if this counts, but
yeah, I don't know if this counts, but there's another movie that's not this one.
Okay, well, now it's time for a segment that we like to call The Real Monster.
run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
You're a monster.
I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me.
All right, it's the healthcare system.
Oh, I love it. We're finally back to like the man is the villain.
Yeah,
We haven't done that in a while.
Capitalism. No, she goes, she's a doctor. She just wants to take care of her patients, but they're like, listen, she doesn't have insurance. She can't have a bed here. And
I love that they were just so like on the nose in that scene to set up.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. It is like, I'm sorry, I don't want to get on this. I don't want to start a tangent or a rant, but like, I mean, why do we just have to pay to make sure that we don't fucking die? And it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's a wild world.
Not only do we have to pay, but then we have to pay for the opportunity to pay when something happens.
Yeah. And you just keep paying.
Just got to hit that deductible.
For some reason, health insurance also doesn't include your eyeballs and your teeth, which are for some reason not lumped in with the rest of your body, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, they're not organic material. Our eyes and teeth are robots. Don't you know that?
Okay. I got it. So it's like taking it to a mechanic. That makes more sense.
That's where I go for my dentist,
You get up on the lift.
I'm like, all righty. Crank me up. Come on, Tony.
It's like that fucking scene in Wayne's World when he's like, when Garth, they're at the fucking garage and Garth is playing with the drill. Like, he's like, that's like, Danny at the fucking dentist. Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. Healthcare system for sure.
Yep, that's what I got.
Mine's also like it's very serious. And it's people who gift dead cats as birthday presents.
What? How about just killing the cat in the first place?
That I'm less worried about. It's more about this process of the wrapping.
It's not how the cat died. It's just wrapping it. Yeah.
And the real monster should be the guests actually at that party. You didn't smell it.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a cat skeleton.
Skeletons are fine.
Okay,
the
it's still
flesh
a dead
is gone.
cat though. Okay.
You know, once you've defleshed it, we're fine.
Okay. Always deflesh. Okay.
Yeah. Always deflesh. When in doubt, deflesh.
My real monster is Rose for pouring her wine like you would pour a glass of whiskey. Like, why was she pouring like just enough wine in her cup to like take one swallow and be done with it?
Because Zach, she kept dropping her glasses. She didn't want to waste it.
It was so ridiculous. I'm like, okay, that's not whiskey. That's not like something heavy. That's like some white wine. It's probably real sweet. Like, why are you?
Very interesting that she was pouring such little amounts, but she was definitely trying to get drunk.
Yeah. She was in denial.
Well, she drank it like so dramatically. And it was like,
because she's
trauma. So there's our real monsters. Do you guys have anything else to add about Smile and the heavy load that it is?
It's nothing like a heavy load. You know, when there's a heavy load, you can't help but smile.
Oh man, I walked into that one.
Yeah, you did. Walked into that heavy load.
You really? No, I don't have anything to say other than I was very surprisingly, pleased with this movie. And not that I thought it was going to be bad. I just was, I don't know, it was better than I expected.
Yes, I was definitely pleasantly surprised. Yeah. Like I said, I've just given up having expectations. So.
Okay, so that is all the time we have for Smile this week. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Find us on Twitter at I Met Your Monster and on Facebook and Instagram at How I Met Your Monster, or send us an email, Zach@howimetyourmonster.com. Danny, Casey, where can our listeners find you guys on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
And I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Salem. Just my name, Danny, Salemme. It's 2 M's, like the candy. Melt in your butt, not in your hands. I'm also, because Twitter is kind of falling apart, I'm on Hive, whatever that is.
And guys, guess what next episode is?
What is it?
Episode 69.
69.
Nice.
Oh, shit. Nice.
We've been keeping this podcast going just so that we could hit episode 69.
Nice.
Yep, that's it.
Because we're immature children and it's funny to us. And because of that, we are watching Society.
The horniest horror movie of all time.
That's
I
right.
always thought I was the horniest horror movie of all time, but...
Well, you just wait. This movie has got some stuff that you couldn't see in your wildest fucking dreams, Danny.
It's going to unlock like a bunch of kinks.
I can't fucking wait.
And you're going to realize I'm like a freak. Wait. Like, Jesus, Danny, take it easy.
Man, that's cool. Yes,
actually, this will be Danny's first viewing of Society.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting.
I've been in Society, like, as far as, like...
Not like this.
Our definition.
Not like this, you haven't been in Society.
Oh, my God. I'm scared.
So that is something you guys do not want to miss. So make sure to join us for episode 69. As always, thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.